No joke, it's literally 5 in the morning right now and I can't stop thinking about Porter Robinson. Now, who is Porter Robinson? That's an amazing question. That's a really good question. I'm so glad you're asking that question actually, because that's what we're gonna be answering today. Who is Porter Robinson? What does he do? Why is he like the most incredible artist ever on earth? And answering many such questions. Before we get too deep into it though, let's get to know each other first. Hi, welcome to my channel. This is where I talk about music and music related things that I find interesting. I like to talk about artists, albums, events, and observations that I see happening in the music world. So if that's something that you guys seem to be into, you are welcome to like, subscribe, and stick around for a little while. I try to post every Wednesday at noon, so hit the bell to be notified, I guess, if you want to see those. And just let me know in the comments like what brought you to this video. I would love to know. But let's get into it. So Porter Robinson's rise to fame, where'd it come from? Honestly, it could be tracked back to his like teenage years. He posted remixes, his original productions, and just like any sort of music thing that he made, he posted it online to these music forums, often like exchange ideas with other creators. One of them happened to be a fellow producer, Madeon. I don't know if you've heard of him. And his breakthrough EP was called Spitfire. It was released under Skrillex's label, actually. You know, it took him worldwide doing like DJ stuff everywhere. And it was during this period where he also co-wrote Clarity. Like the Clarity. Like, if I love that song. And he toured with Skrillex and Zed. So he was like a very fundamental part of the EDM scene of the early 2010s. It was just a combination of insane talent, obviously, along with very strategic networking and just the explosive like popularity of dubstep and EDM music in the 2010s. However, his artistic ambitions did lead him away from this sort of conventional EDM structure. Not saying that he completely went away from this sort of like techno music-esque thing, but paved the way for his first official album, Worlds. Now, of course, what is Worlds? If you've never heard of it, I had never heard of it until, well, I had heard of it, but I never heard it until like a couple days ago, and girl, did it change my life. It honestly like transforms music. Not like that. Like genuinely, it changed the way that I look at EDM music and just electronic music in general. The album itself redefined his whole career and it set like a new precedent of the genre. Released in 2014, it was a departure from his earlier very bass-heavy electro sound, and it embraced this sort of emotional storytelling. And it had a lot of nostalgic influences, which we see a lot in Porter's music, but especially in Worlds, as it's like his first big album. It draws from anime, films, and just like 90s video games. It was heavily inspired by Discovery by Daft Punk. It blends these sort of electro pop and ambient vibes with very synth melodies. It's honestly a very immersive experience, if there was a word for it. I would say it really like draws you in. These singles that he had released for the album obviously showed this shift that he had from traditional EDM to a very cinematic, almost introspective style of his music. The production process of it saw him retreating back to his parents' home in Chapel Hill, I believe, where he meticulously crafted this album, incorporating these general MIDI sounds to reminisce his childhood gaming experience, and it layered these synths, of course, with the vocal like chops that he has in his music a lot, and very delicate elements in general. It evokes like a very strong sense of nostalgia. Like even someone like me who obviously did not play games in the 1990s, I wasn't even an embryo in the 1990s, but I feel like I was. Like listening to this album, I feel like a 90s kid. Are the old people gonna come for me for saying that? I don't know. But it has these very heavy themes of escapism, nostalgia, and just overall fiction that like permeate through this album. You almost feel it like in your chest. And it heavily reflects Porter's desire to create this like completely separate world from reality, which of course the album is called Worlds. He describes the creative process of this album to be painstaking, and honestly, it was like very just difficult to put his emotions into a sound, and he spent countless hours just refining every detail, always like reworking the tracks from the ground up, ensuring that they captured this precise feeling that he had envisioned. So it was initially met with skepticism, as many new genre-defining albums are. It ended up being a critical and commercial success, charting internationally and overall just influencing this new wave of electronic artists in general. The album's success brought this immense pressure, though, leading to a strong period of writer's block and depression that delayed the next major works, of course. He often speaks of the struggle that he had with meeting the expectations of Worlds later on. He felt almost trapped by its success and just uncertain of how to move forward artistically, wondering should he stay in the same spot where, of course, he's finding the success, or should he continue to push these boundaries, which we all know what he ended up doing. But he wrestled with the fear that he would never really be able to create something so meaningful again, and this was a sentiment that went on to shape his future work, which we'll get into in a second. But it's a very understandable feeling to have when you have this piece of art that has so much success. You feel almost pressurized to replicate that success rather than working on your art as it's like your art, not exactly made for anyone else, which I understand. Like, obviously as a musician you need to make money, but entertainment is a pretty confusing business in that sense. But following Worlds, of course, Robinson continued this artistic evolution that he had with the 2017 release of Virtual Self under this new alias. It embraced the trance sort of Eurodance feel, further expanding his musical palette to more styles of EDM and techno music. And this, of course, reinforced his position as a true innovator in the electronic scene. He spent almost 3 years just diving into his own like browsing history, using websites like the Wayback Machine to revisit old forums and web pages that he frequented during like the 90s to 2003-ish. And he used these echoes of the past along with like old DeviantArt posts and the time he spent playing like PlayStation games to compose this mood board for Virtual Self and the way that it would look and sound. He says that it's not purely like an homage to that time. He's not trying to recreate anything specific. He's trying to recreate the memory and the feelings of those things that surrounded them in that time. So this Virtual Self project, of course, what is it? It comes alive through two different personas. We have this Technic Angel who's very dark cloak. They have a happier hardcore vibe to them, and then we have the Path Selector who is dressed in all white, has a gold mask, and is more darker and like groovier, I guess. The project is very highly designed. It has this blue and black sort of sci-fi aesthetic to it going on. It has like a social media presence of some sort. It's like not an ARG, but like the same vibes, sort of. It has a hidden forum on the website, and it adds to the sense of just mystery and like techno spiritualism. It even earned a Grammy nomination for Best Dance Recording with Ghost Voices, which is insane. But despite all of the project's success, he describes Virtual Self as being very emotionally detached compared to the rest of his work. It focuses more on the like technicality of his production rather than the personal expression. But in 2021 is when Porter Robinson released Nurture. It's an album that reflects on his struggles with mental health and just personal growth in general. Nurture, it departs a lot from the electronic roots and focuses more on the instrumentalization of his work, using very introspective lyrics and just taking a much more personal approach to his music. Tracks like Get Your Wish and Mirror exemplify this, especially showcasing these really raw emotions that depart a lot from the expectations of his previous work that had been put on him. While Worlds was this fictional universe, Nurture is deeply personal. It's very real, and it reflects his inner battles and ultimately his resilience. If anything, the album is a very cathartic experience, especially for Porter, as it's helped him reconnect with his love for music just after years of feeling creatively lost. Little side note, I had just listened to Nurture for the first time last week, and let me tell y'all, let me set the scene. It was the first walk of springtime. Daylight savings had just started. I was feeling good. I was like, oh, sunset at 7:30 p.m. Bet I'm gonna go outside on a walk. I go outside on a walk and, I'm checking Twitter and I see everybody talking Nurture Pilled, Nurture Maxing, and I was like, okay, let me tap into this Nurture album and see what it's all about. I cried listening to it. I had my AirPods in, I was walking, I was looking at the sunset while I was walking. It was the most beautiful experience of my life. Listening to Mother for the first time, listening to Mirror for the first time, listening to Blossom. Genuinely, this album changed my life. I feel like an actually happier person since I've been listening to Porter like every single day for like a week straight. Obviously, that's why I'm making this video. But like, I genuinely feel like a much happier person. Like, I don't want to die, which is crazy. I feel like I'm finally getting out of this seasonal depression, whatever. And unironically, like, listening to Porter Robinson and like EDM music and just like electro music is making me feel happier. Like, I don't have a single space in my head for a negative thought. Guys, this is insane. This album is magical. I'm telling you, it's magical. I just woke up from my nap and Porter Robinson liked my TikTok talking about nurture. What the hell? And even better, we're about to get into it, but Smile? Bro. We're about to get into it. His latest album, Smile, of course, released in 2024, is a very confident return to his form. It has this pop punk sort of 2000s influence to it. It demonstrates this like renewed sense of purpose and joy, which I already talked about Smile. I already talked about Smile in my Albums of 2024 video, but we're gonna talk about it again. Tracks like Russian Roulette, Cheerleader, Knock Yourself Out is just very playful. It's very self-aware to these themes of mental health that, of course, everybody goes through, but Porter's talking about it in his own lens of mental health and celebrity and self-identity, really. Unlike the introspective sort of melancholic tones of Nurture, Smile is very exuberant in its celebration of artistic freedom, really, and it resonates with both longtime fans, of course, and newer audiences like me. It showcases his ability to balance sincerity with humor, embracing this more carefree style while maintaining his signature emotional depth in a lot of these songs. And of course, the Smile Tour takes its name from his stunning album, which is now coming to an unfortunate end. He's compared his vision to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, of course, calling this almost like his Eras Tour, performing his discography, performing Smile before revisiting Worlds and Nurture. The show culminates with Russian Roulette. Let me tell y'all something about Russian Roulette. In Porter's words, it is a 3-minute far off the mic emo acoustic buildup that leads to a crazy trance drop at the end. He calls it an absolute catharsis explosion. I don't think there are any more words to describe it. I mean, if you just listen to like the buildup of the bridge of that song, it will change your life. Listen to Worlds, listen to Nurture, listen to Smile, like in order, and it will genuinely change your life. You will feel reset. I can't explain the way that listening to Russian Roulette makes me feel. Like, I feel like my bones are like vibrating with this sort of energy. I sound like a crazy person. As Porter Robinson has embarked on this world tour now, he's continued to push the boundaries of electronic music. The trajectory of his career has showcased his ability to evolve while staying very true to his artistic vision. Going from the nostalgic escapism of Worlds to the introspection of Nurture to the uninhibited joy of Smile now. Porter's journey is honestly just a testament to the power of reinvention and self-expression. If anything, it's inspiring. That's all I have to say. I've just been so into Porter's music for like actually a week straight. Like, I have to just say this and get it out of my head. If you take anything from this video, please just listen to his music. If you're trying to get out of your seasonal depression or some sort of like midterms rut that you're in, whatever it may be, just listen to a Porter song and you will feel better. I promise you. It will brighten your day. If you don't want to listen to Porter, that's fine, whatever. Play some EDM playlist. I have a house music playlist that I can link in the description if you guys want. You're not depressed, you just need to listen to EDM. Or maybe you are depressed, but maybe it'll make you feel better. Anyways, that's all I had to say for this video. Thank you guys. It is now almost 6 a.m. and I have to be up for class like right now, so I'm gonna go do that. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!